Hello, this is, let's see, it is Wednesday, December 7th, 2016, and today I want to talk quickly about what the heck is going on with China, Boeing Airlines, and Donald Trump. And also the media's never-ending freakouts about the election of this guy. They're all playing in together and creating a real messy situation. As everybody knows, over the weekend, Donald Trump accepted a congratulatory call from the leader of Taiwan over his winning the election. It was a simple enough phone call, lasted about 8 or 10 minutes. No policies were made. It was just thank you and good luck and all that sort of thing. Well, China didn't look at it that way. They looked at it as a breach of the one China policy that was enacted by Jimmy Carter. And Jimmy Carter put the policy in place as a matter of appeasement for the Chinese so that we would open up more relations with them, completely overlooking the long-term impacts, as was typical of that guy. At any rate, that policy should have been abandoned probably 25 years ago. And we had the mess following the phone call from the leader of Taiwan, who the Taiwanese think they're the leaders of China. It's a dispute between the two countries. It's too long to go into right here, but it's silly childishness between both of them. And regardless, Taiwan is a big trading partner of the U.S., and China is a big trading partner. But here we have this thing here. This is the currency hitting a new low in China. Why? The Chinese manipulate their currency. President Obama's talked about it. George Bush has talked about it. Donald Trump has talked about it. They lower the price of their value of their currency so they can put more jobs in and drive their economy ahead. And there's a whole story in here about it. And CNN carries a lot on this. CNN is very close to the Chinese, and they often have this fellow on, the guy on the left. His name is Jack Ma. He's a mainland Chinese billionaire who basically is a mouthpiece for the mainland Chinese Communist government, who goes on television whenever they'll let him here in the United States to extol the virtues of friendship and cooperation. I can tell you from dealing in China myself for over 30 years that China is no friend of the United States. They'll take our money, but they're not our pals. And no deal with the Chinese ever comes out clean. And he's here to try and make it all sound like we all can be friends and kumbaya. Donald Trump has a different view on that because he recognizes the lousy deals we have. And then we have this. This article came out on the 18th before the Taiwanese leader called, and it's a story basically that China is ready to step into the breach if the United States walks away from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. That's sort of laughable because China is not in a position to step into anything. And without the United States in the TPP, there is no TPP, because you have 11 countries involved, and probably 8 of them won't even bother signing it or dealing with it, as it'll be a meaningless piece of paper. The U.S. shouldn't sign it because it doesn't benefit the United States. The United States, under Donald Trump, seems to be of the crazy mind that if we sign a trade agreement, we should benefit from it, not give something away in the hope that someday it'll come back to us. That's not how trade agreements work. And the Chinese are trying to shore up their position by saying they'll be more than happy to step in and handle it. Well, they can't. They don't have the power, and they couldn't take the economic disruption. And this is why, okay? China's, if you look down here, right here, China's growth rate last year was 6.9%. The target growth rate is 9%. They need 9% in order to remain constant. They need that to grow. They need that to keep their economy moving. This year it's expected to be lower than this, probably 6.5%. This is a serious problem for China. And that's why they manipulate their currency, and that's why they want to get TPP. It's a trade deal that heavily benefits them, but not the United States and not the EU. It's a pretty lousy deal. All right. And China went after that to warn Trump that he wouldn't be able to get any of the jobs back from China, and so on and so forth. There's this article on CNBC about what would happen if there was a trade war between the U.S. and China. Well, I can tell you right now, if there was a trade war between the U.S. and China, China would lose it, because China wouldn't be able to withstand 6 or 8 months of languishing trade. Their economy would spiral downward at a very, very rapid rate. And we all saw what happened when they had a slight dip in their GDP and their stock market virtually collapsed. All right. Now, what's the story with Trump and Boeing? Well, it started here. After the comments by Trump about wanting to get out of TPP, something that Boeing is heavily in favor of, and heavily in favor of good trade relations with the Chinese. Chinese buy 1 out of every 3 international jet sale that Boeing makes. That's a lot of planes, okay? And Mr. Muhlenberg, Dennis Muhlenberg, who's the chairman of Boeing, seems to forget what country he's based in. He also seems to forget that the Chinese are rapidly on track to building their own airline maker. They're going to build their own jets soon enough, and they won't be buying anything more from Boeing. But he wants Donald Trump to back off and go along with this trade deal. Why? Because Boeing has geared itself towards this trade deal, and they want it. They want to get into that region using this trade deal. But it's not a trade deal that universally benefits everyone, so the United States is giving it a very serious second thought. And we should. Even Hillary Clinton said it wasn't a good deal anymore, and she wanted to get out of it. Does everybody forget that? But Donald Trump is now going to be the president, and he's in favor of it, and this guy spoke out against him. So yesterday, Donald Trump made took a shot at him by mentioning something about a cost overrun pair of planes that Boeing was making for the presidential use, and they immediately reacted. The story was yesterday in the media that Donald Trump was trying to destroy Boeing's stock. Did Donald Trump tank Boeing's stock because he was mad about the news article? Okay, here's the chart, the plunge. But look at the numbers. Okay, Boeing opened at 152.44. It closed it at 152.46. Okay, it actually went up 2 cents yesterday. But at the time of the comments, it dropped a whopping, almost $2. That's it. A 2% drop on a $150 stock is less than 1.5%. It's a very small amount of drop, and it recovered immediately by mid-morning, late morning, and began its climb back up around 11:30. So calling it a tank is a bit of an overstatement by the media, but this is just something the media does to make Trump look particularly bad. The reality is that all this cacophony of noise you're hearing has to do with the media, big business, government contractors, and foreign governments freaking out that the United States might be stepping back up to bat again, getting better deals, making better deals, and helping the American worker, instead of worrying about the workers of China, the workers of India, the workers of anywhere else. The United States is going to start working for this country again, and putting its people to work and making good products. And that is something the world does not want to see. That is something that these trade deals does not want to see. Something that President Obama has not wanted to see. Okay? For 8 years we watched this, and suddenly somebody with some nerve has stepped up and said, we're getting screwed in these deals, let's fix them. And I think that's what Donald Trump intends to do. And I think before anybody else's head explodes, they all sit back for a little bit and give it some thought. Have a great day. Bye-bye.